All right, I'm ready. So the main question tonight, first of all, I want to thank you for being here with me. And for those who don't know, this is Chris Burns, the owner of Arch CBB. He's a writer, an author, and he's also a shoe salesman. And he owns his own shoe company. All right, you can see the shoes right here in his hands. Nice shoes. And this is House of Kicks. I've been doing this for a while now too. So the question today that I have for this man, because he's taught me a lot of things, is should you become a reseller?
Man, should you become a reseller? All right, first off, I guess I have to say, let me turn my computer down because I know it's getting feedback. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Should you become a reseller? I got my whiteboard behind me so I can write on the board. First off, I guess I would be considered a reseller, but I'm not the type of person that's selling the hottest shoes and stuff like that. But I've had an online store for a long time. As a matter of fact, the online store is what allowed me to start my shoe company. So my online store, I don't really compare it to, it's not resale. It's just not what I consider resale. But I think what you're saying is, should a person become a reseller and start trying to flip Jordans?
Exactly,
right?
Jordan.
Or try to get the Yeezys, go stand online for 25 hours and then try to get the Yeezys and then try and get $1,000 for a $200 pair of shoes. All right. The resale game has changed, right? 10 years ago, I used to wholesale to like 5 different dudes, man. A dude in Vegas, dude in New York, dude in Jersey, another guy that used to drive into Memphis. I had all of these guys I was wholesaling to. So I would throw, I would put packages of shoes together for them. Some guys would buy 10, 15 pair of shoes. Some guys would buy 100 pair of shoes. Now, I wasn't online at that time. This is 5, 10 years ago. All of these guys were on eBay. So I wasn't on eBay. All I did was I did wholesale. Guys got in touch with me, wanted to get some shoes. I got them the shoes. I sent them the shoes. I got my money. I was good. I didn't worry about it. Well, eventually I converted because what happened was a lot of the wholesale guys started dying down. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe I'll get online and start reselling myself. So I started reselling, and I'm on Amazon. So I have the ARC online shop on Amazon. So I sell shoes, but I don't consider it reselling because what I do is I find mom and pop stores who are having problems moving their inventory, and then I work out relationships with those mom and pop stores. So I go in and help. I help physical stores. I'm not walking into a Foot Locker on the day of a big release just to try and buy one shoe to go flip it. I'm not doing that. But if somebody decided, you know what, I want to sell shoes, why not? Go for it. But you need to realize that the market has changed now. 3-4 years ago, you could buy a Jordan for $170 or $150, right? And you could take that Jordan and somebody would buy it from you for $250. You could make a profit. Well, if you're talking about doing that now, things have changed. Nike, you know what? I think the question should be a little bit different. Should you be a reseller now? It should really be focused more on what has Nike done. I think me and you talked about this earlier. What has Nike done to basically kill resellers? So maybe that's where we're going, right?
Exactly.
All right, then that makes me I have to turn around. I keep my whiteboard. I got a class tonight that I'm doing online. So I got my whiteboard ready. But let's look at some numbers. Nike, if you're going to be a reseller, first things first, you better be able to get your product at a ridiculous discount. All right? Because
how low? Like 40, 50%?
You know what? I mean, the you can get it as low as you can get it, man. The cheaper you can get it, the better. Because if you don't get a discount now, you can walk into any Foot Locker or Finish Line and you're still going to see retros on the shelves. So basically the idea of reselling a general release, a brand new shoe, it's a wrap. You ain't doing that. You're not going to make any money. But I think people don't get what I'm saying. So let's look at some numbers, right? So here we have a retro. costs $190, right? So you got a retro, that's $190. Now you got that plus tax. And in Memphis, the tax is about 10%. It's 9.25. So you're looking at a shoe going from $190 to about $203. Okay? So if you're going to be reselling, you need to understand that this is the price that you're paying for a shoe unless you get the shoe on a discount. Now, it used to be that the shoe cost $160 or $170, right? And then, you know, plus tax, it was maybe $160, it would be $174. That used to be the price, is $174. So somebody would get the shoe $174, and that's what they would pay for it. See, they would go to eBay and they would sell it for $250. Now, it's hard for you to see that $250, but they would sell it for $250. Well, this is the thing, you know, that's a wrap, because when we come over here, all the way back over to this $190 and it's $203 that you're paying for a shoe, you're not factoring in a few things. So if you didn't get that shoe for a discount and you paid $203 back when you were doing $174, you might have made $20 or $30 on that shoe at $250. So what a dude has to think about, if he's a reseller, he's going to be out here trying to flip shoes, make people think he's balling or whatever. Then this dude has to realize he's going to pay $203 for the shoe, unless he gets a hookup from a Nike dude, or if he steals them, or whatever is going on, because I see guys out here selling shoes stupid cheap now. And the only way you can sell some shoes the way these dudes are selling shoes is if either you got a Nike plug or you got somebody stealing these shoes, you know. So, and I think that's what's really popping right now. Dudes are going out there stealing, because this is the math. This is the math. $203, okay? If you put them on eBay, eBay gets 10%. PayPal gets 2.75% on the transaction. So you're basically looking at a 13% transaction. That's 13%. It's ugly. It looks like 130. Let me erase that. So you got a 13% fee that eBay is going to take. All right. So if you do the math on 13%, let's say you're trying to get $250 for a shoe, because I know, and you know, that $250 is hard to get on a pair of shoes now. You may end up selling that shoe maybe 6 months from now, but do you have the money, if you're going to become a reseller, to wait 6 months to sell that shoe for $250? Do you have that kind of money? If you do, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Be a reseller. But on the real, let's look at this. If you got that shoe for $203, right? And you're selling it for $250, 250 times 0.13 is $32.50. So now you take that 203 and you add 32.50, and you got what? $235. So now the shoe is $235, right? Now, if I'm a buyer, if you're doing a shoe and you're selling me a shoe, I'm not paying for shipping if I'm paying you $250 for a Jordan, right? So if I'm paying $250 for a Jordan, I want free shipping. Now, if you're a reseller and you're just starting, you're like, oh, I want to be a reseller. I'm going to be a reseller. Well, this is the catch. You're going to have to do free shipping on that shoe to guarantee that sale. And when you do free shipping on a pair of Jordans, you got to have a box that's about like this big, double box it, which is a 16 by 10 by 6 box. That box costs like $1, right? So you got that box, you add $1, right? So now you're at $236.50, and it's going to cost you to ship that shoe. When you start looking at doing shipping, like here's an order form on this shoe. Like I get this order form. This shoe costs $12.49 to ship, right? But because I know people steal shoes and customers will steal shoes, then I have to do a signature shipping on it if I'm shipping it through the U.S. Postal Service. So the USPS is going to cost me $2 for a signature shipping, right? So that signature shipping is $2. The shipping on it is $12. So now instead of 236, let's look at where we are on this price. You're at this 50 cent over here still, right? You're now at 6 plus 2 plus 2 is 0. So you got a 3, 4, 5. You're at $250. If you're a reseller, you sold it for what? $250. Now, if you factor in, if you stood online for an hour or 2 hours, you factor in standing online is $10 an hour, you're down $20 on trying to flip this shoe. So let's be real. If you want to be a reseller, you better think about it. What has Nike done to the resale market? Well, Nike got smart. They no longer sell the retros for $160. The low top Jordan 5 is $175 now, plus tax. That makes it $190. If you're not getting it cheap, you're not going to be an effective reseller. Now, somebody out there is probably saying something like, well, I can get the Yeezys and I can flip those. But dudes are not factoring in the time that they're standing online. Dudes are not factoring in the fact that you might get a chargeback. You might get a claim. So your shoes are gone. And then this dude that got the shoes, he puts a chargeback on you. The person that gets the chargeback, whoever did the transaction, PayPal or Amazon, they take your money and they put it up in the air. So now your money is sitting in the air. So if you sold a pair of Yeezys for $1,000 and the guy comes back and does a chargeback claim, you're out of $1,000 until that chargeback claim is satisfied if you want to be a reseller. All right. Now, what we have to think about in regard to all of this, you see what this happens. Now, if you're getting the shoe at a discount and you sell it for $250, you're going to win. So I can't be mad at you. But this is the problem. So many people are doing it now, and now that the shoes are not selling out, it is what it is. You know, you may buy that shoe from somebody at a discount, and you're going to end up having to sell it for retail. So we go back to the same math. Let's say you hook up with somebody that got it from a Nike store or something, and you got it at half off, plus tax, plus some money to the Nike guy, whoever it is, then you may be at about $130 on that shoe, right? So you're at $130 on the shoe. Well, that shoe doesn't pop and go to $250. You have to sell it for retail. But what if it takes a month and a half to sell it? You're in another bind because you're going to have to wait on the next release. And when the next release comes out, until everything is sold out, you're not going to sell that shoe. You can't flip it. So you have to drop it back down to $190, and you do the math all over again. After you take 13%, you got the shoe for $130. You sell it for $190. Let's do some math. 190 times 0.13 from eBay is 24.7. So now that 24.7 you have to add to the 130 that you pay for that shoe, right? And it's now 154.70 is what you pay for that shoe. And then the free shipping, you add another 15. So now you're at what? 170. You make $20. If you got 100 pair of shoes and you can make $20 a pair, you're killing it. You're doing great. But if you got 5 pair of shoes and you're making $20 a pair, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to be a reseller. So you can go out and do that if you want to, but you know, who's the fool, you or me? You know, I can go to a store and find a $5 t-shirt, flip it for $34 and make more money than you did. So who's the fool? It's you, if you think you're balling by reselling. So what we have to look at also is, what has Nike done to crush this stuff down, which is a whole new conversation. I think we ought to do that on a different hangout. What do you think?
All right. I agree.
I think you want to talk about it, we can get into it.
A lot of information today to think about. So next time we'll probably talk about that. But I really like how you broke it down, man. I really appreciate your help. That was really great. And I know you know your stuff.
Hey, man, I try, man. And, you know, a lot of people probably don't know who I am. I'm not a big name in the sneaker world, and people don't know I got a shoe brand and stuff like that. But I've been around for a long time, you know, and I've been watching what's going on. And it's becoming, it's really starting to go back to the way it used to be if you love sneakers. If you really love sneakers, I think Nike's created a market now, man, where you can get what you want almost without any problems because all of the stuff is sitting now. So we're at a really pivotal point where things are starting to change. But there's a reason it started to change, and I guess we'll get into that next time. But I'm glad you had me on, man. If people want to catch up with me, they can hit me on Twitter at ArchByCCB, ARCHBYCCB. And the same tag is for YouTube, youtube.com/ArchByCCB. On Facebook is Arch Footwear, ARCHFOOTWEAR. You can catch me on any of those platforms. I do an online class where, you know, I'm trying to teach people how to start businesses. So, I mean, this is good for me, man. I'm glad you decided to write and ask me the questions, man. Tell me to come back tomorrow or whenever. Let me know, and I'm down, man, and I'll come back and talk.
I'm sure whoever watches this is gonna want you to come back every week, man. So you better be ready. You gotta carve out some time for these people, because I'm sure they're gonna ask you a lot of questions, man.
I'm ready, man. Fire the questions away, because I have a lot of answers. I've been at it for a long time, so let's get it cracking.
All right, man. Thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
All right. Peace.